the Lakers gave JJ Redick a 2-year extension, so that gives them a total of 5 years through 2029. This makes it clear JJ Redick is the coach, not just now, but moving forward for the long term, beyond just the LeBron James era.
What if LeBron's decision is he wants to re-sign with the Lakers? And Rob said, we would love if LeBron retired as a Laker. He didn't discuss the option of actually extending another deal.
The way that LeBron's operation has approached this is an indication that he is not happy.
Yeraha rewritten script 550 words. The Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James are locked in what feels like a silent Cold War. And the franchise just made a move that might go down as one of the most dramatic power shifts in NBA history. While most fans were distracted by blockbuster trades and flashy free agency rumors, the Lakers quietly sent a message that cuts deeper than any headline deal. They gave first-year head coach JJ Redick, a man with just 1 season of coaching under his belt, a contract extension. But LeBron James, the 4-time champion, the NBA's all-time leading scorer, and the face of this franchise for nearly a decade, did not get an extension. No talks, no negotiations, nothing. For the first time in his 23-year career, LeBron James is walking into a season on an expiring contract, and that single detail flips the balance of power in Los Angeles. Think about it. This is the same LeBron who built the blueprint for controlling his own destiny, the man who practically invented the player empowerment era. Every team he's ever played for has bent over backwards to keep him happy, to keep him locked in long term. But suddenly, the Lakers are breaking that cycle. On June 29, 2025, LeBron opted into his $52.6 million player option, securing his 23rd NBA season, an unheard-of milestone. But then his agent, Rich Paul, dropped a statement that sent shockwaves through the league. He said, "We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and his career." That wasn't just a casual line. That was a chess move. And it revealed the truth. The Lakers are already looking beyond LeBron. Now, here's the twist. Just 1 year ago, LeBron was reportedly willing to take a $20 million pay cut to help the Lakers chase stars like Klay Thompson or James Harden. Fans still argue whether that pay cut would have even created meaningful cap space, but the intent was there. LeBron was ready to sacrifice to build a contender around himself and Anthony Davis. But then came the trade that changed everything. The Lakers shipped Anthony Davis for Luka Doncic in February. That wasn't just a roster change. That was a generational pivot. Overnight, the Lakers shifted their identity from LeBron's team to Luka's team. And you could see LeBron's frustration bubbling through subtle comments at the end of the season. Little shots aimed at the front office, hinting he wasn't happy about being pushed into the background. This is where the Cold War really begins. On one side, you have LeBron, still an elite player at 40, defying time, but also running out of it. On the other side, you have the Lakers, choosing to prioritize the next decade with Luka over 1 more year of LeBron at $50 million. And in between sits JJ Redick, the coach who now has security from the franchise that refused to offer the same to their superstar. Make no mistake, this isn't just about contracts. It's about legacy, power, and control. The Lakers are signaling the end of one era and the birth of another. And for the first time in 2 decades, LeBron James is no longer the one holding the pen.
Confidence and belief. We think he's a special coach with a special voice that's really helping us to continue to define the culture of Lakers excellence. And just wanted to make a clear statement that this is what we believe in.
Rich Paul's recent statement wasn't just casual talk. It was a warning shot straight at the Los Angeles Lakers. When an agent says he's evaluating what's best for a player like LeBron James, that's leverage. But here's the shocking part. The Lakers were perfectly comfortable letting LeBron enter this season on an expiring contract. A franchise built on superstar culture, suddenly fine with no long-term deal for the biggest star of his generation. That alone tells you where this story is heading. For years, critics argued that LeBron could have taken a $20 million pay cut to give the Lakers flexibility. And while fans debate how much that really would have changed under the salary cap, one thing is clear. The front office never planned its future around him. Instead, they doubled down on JJ Redick. On September 25th, 2025, the Lakers extended their rookie head coach. Think about that. Redick had 3 full years left on his contract, had coached 1 season, gone 50-32, and lost in the first round. Yet the front office rewarded him with security. Rob Pelinka called it a move of confidence and belief. But this extension revealed something far bigger. By committing early, the Lakers weren't building on LeBron's timeline. They were preparing for Luka Doncic's. Because in February, the Lakers made a franchise-altering trade for Luka, and ever since, every decision has been about his prime years, not LeBron's final ones. The proof? In May 2025, Pelinka and Redick had a private dinner with Luka and his agent, mapping out long-term plans, salary cap strategies, and the search for another young star to pair with him. LeBron James wasn't even invited. The man who delivered a 2020 championship, the centerpiece of the franchise for 7 years, was completely left out of the room. And the shift became undeniable in June when the Buss family sold the Lakers to billionaire Mark Walter for $10 billion. Luka was informed in advance and even congratulated the move publicly. LeBron? He found out with the rest of us. This isn't just a basketball story. This is about power, respect, and the changing of the guard in Los Angeles. The message from the Lakers couldn't be clearer. This is no longer LeBron James' franchise. Luka Doncic is now the centerpiece, and everything about the Lakers' long-term vision is built on his timeline, not LeBron's. And that's a shocking reality when you consider what LeBron has meant to this organization for the last 7 years. Now let's break this down, because the contract situation is where things get really fascinating. LeBron is making $52.6 million this season, slightly below the maximum salary of $54.1 million, which represents 35% of the NBA's $154.6 million salary cap. At age 40, the question was simple. If LeBron wanted an extension, would he expect a max deal? And if so, would the Lakers be justified in giving it to him? Sources close to both sides have suggested that LeBron did want an extension. Most insiders believe he pushed for what's called a 1+1, one guaranteed year and a player option for the following season. But here's where the NBA's salary cap rules complicate everything. Back in 2017, LeBron himself helped push for the over 38 rule in the collective bargaining agreement, a rule designed to stop teams from handing out massive long-term contracts to aging stars who might retire early. Since LeBron turns 41 in December, any extension he signs can only be 3 years at most. But here's the kicker. The over 38 rule treats any salary past that birthday as deferred money, which creates serious salary cap headaches. So from the Lakers' perspective, handing LeBron a max deal wouldn't just eat up a huge chunk of their cap space. It would cripple their flexibility to build around Doncic, the 26-year-old megastar they just invested their entire future in. And that brings us to the key question. Is LeBron being selfish for potentially expecting max money at this stage of his career? Well, the numbers tell their own story. At age 40, he averaged 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists across 70 games. That's production no other player at his age has ever touched. From a pure basketball standpoint, LeBron James is still worth every penny. But from a franchise building standpoint, it's a different debate, because while LeBron is still elite, he's also 40, openly discussing retirement, and closer to the end than the beginning. And the new owner, billionaire Mark Walter, didn't spend $10 billion on the Lakers to run a retirement home for legends. He bought the team to dominate the next decade. And the man he sees carrying that torch isn't LeBron, it's Luka. This is why the Lakers made the unusual decision to extend head coach JJ Redick after just 1 season. Redick had 3 years left on his original deal, yet the Lakers locked him up early. Why? Because they wanted to send a message. This is our coach, this is our culture, and this is our future. Redick may not have won a championship in his first year, but he represents stability, alignment with the front office, and most importantly, a long-term partnership with Luka Doncic. Think about the contrast here. When you extend a coach early, you're telling the world you're planning years ahead. But when you refuse to extend your superstar, you're making the opposite statement. We're not tying our future to you. And that's exactly the shift happening in Los Angeles. For LeBron, this has to feel surreal. For 2 decades, every major organizational move in Cleveland, Miami, and Los Angeles had his fingerprints all over it. He was consulted on trades, free agents, coaching hires, everything. Now, he's finding out about franchise-altering moves like the rest of us scrolling Twitter. That's more than just business. It's about respect, and it signals a changing of the guard. Still, we can't overlook LeBron's mindset. He has always thrived on proving people wrong. When critics said he couldn't win in Cleveland, he went to Miami and stacked rings. When people said he'd never bring a championship back to Cleveland, he delivered one of the greatest finals comebacks ever. Now, as the Lakers start to turn the page on him, you can bet LeBron is feeling that fire again. Rich Paul's comments about evaluating what's best for LeBron weren't just talk, they were leverage, pressure, and maybe even a preview of LeBron's next chapter. And don't forget, there's another layer here. LeBron has openly talked about wanting to play with his youngest son, Bryce James, who won't be eligible for the NBA draft until 2026. If that's truly the plan, then LeBron has every reason to keep playing at least 2 more seasons, regardless of what happens in LA. But here's the real question. Can the Lakers actually win with both LeBron and Luka on the same roster? On paper, it's a dream. 2 generational talents sharing the floor. Last season, the Lakers went 15-8 when both started together, showing flashes of dominance. LeBron's IQ and leadership combined with Luka's offensive brilliance could, in theory, produce something special. But the front office doesn't see it that way. Their calculation is simple. LeBron gives them a short window, maybe 2 years. Luka gives them a decade. Why risk the future for a desperate shot at one last title when you can build sustainably around a superstar entering his prime? This is where the NBA as a whole is changing. For years, teams bent over backwards to please their stars, sometimes to their own downfall. The Lakers did it in Kobe's final years, giving him massive contracts that crippled their roster. The Warriors did it by clinging to Draymond Green and sacrificing young assets. But today's front offices are colder, more calculated. They'll honor their legends, but they won't hand over the keys forever. So where does this end? Here's the most likely outcome. LeBron plays out this season, gives everything he has left, and then quietly moves on. Maybe it's a farewell tour. Maybe it's one more season at a discount. Or maybe it's a fresh start somewhere else, chasing championships like Tom Brady did late in his NFL career by taking pay cuts for stacked rosters. But one thing is certain, the Lakers have made their choice. Luka Doncic is their future, and they're not afraid to plan for the next 5 to 10 years, even if it means saying goodbye to one of the greatest players in NBA history.